Seem to be missing a slideshow. I'm not going to panic. I know I saved it, so it's got to be there somewhere. We have one. Here's the other. Oh, we're on. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Art with Liz here at the beautiful Hoboken Library. Want to begin, as usual, with a big thank you, big shout out to the Hoboken Library for allowing us to have these hybrid classes that we've been doing since COVID. Morning. So I welcome those of you who are on Zoom or on YouTube at home in the comfort of your own space, and those of you who are here in the beautifully renovated studio space at the Hoboken Library. Kudos to the library for providing us with this ability to enjoy the arts and explore our own creativity. We are in the month of August 2024, and our theme for this month is hot new artists. And I've chosen this theme because August is usually the hottest month of the year. And in this era of climate change, August is proving true to that belief. It's even hotter than usual. I'm kind of breaking the definition of my theme this month, however, and I am choosing an artist who's not new, who certainly isn't young, but who came to fame. You seem to have an echo, Laura, who came to fame because he left the comfort of his home country and moved to a hot tropical locale to paint in a very, very extremely hot location. So we're keeping with part of the theme of hot. He did break a lot of rules of the game in the art world of that time. So he was cutting edge for his time as well. So he was doing new, innovative work for the era in which he lived. But for us today, he's a name that we've heard of before. So I wouldn't call him new. He may be new to some of us in this class today, but his name is Paul Gauguin. And Paul Gauguin usually is grouped with the Impressionist and Post-Impressionist artists, but I personally don't consider him to be an Impressionist. And I'm going to talk about that when we look at our slideshow today and why I think of him in a whole different category of art. He was inspired by the Impressionist movement and he worked with Impressionist artists, but I think he was singularly his own category, I guess you could say, of art. Before we do the slideshow of Gauguin's work, though, I want to talk briefly about our art show. For those of you who don't know, the members of this class are going to be having an art show that all are welcome to participate in September. It's being sponsored by the Hoboken Library. And at the beginning of each class in August, I've been talking very quickly and very simply, kind of bare bones styles about different aspects of showing your art. Today, I'm going to talk about pricing your artwork. We're going to do that first, then I'm going to talk about Gauguin's work. We're going to look at it, discuss it, and then I'm going to present to you a project that you can do today so that you can explore your own creativity. Any questions so far? No? All right, so I'm going to try and share the screen with this short video that I've created about how to price your work. There are many, many, many places online that you can find about how to price your art. This is my personal way of pricing my art. There are a few easy steps that you can take. This is one of the more difficult aspects for artists to do. I'm not sure why, but even I find this difficult. And I like to ask advice, particularly of my husband. I'm lucky enough to be related to an artist, and I will ask him for advice sometimes about whether I'm pricing my art in a reasonable way. But here are the steps. Those of you who like to take notes, you can take notes. Those of you who prefer, you can take pictures of the slides to help you remember. Slideshow is called How to Price My Art, Making Pricing Decisions. Here we go. Feel free to ask questions at any time. If you have any thoughts or ideas, shout them out. Number one, you need to know your audience. Who is coming to look at your art? Where are you showing your art? Are you showing in a gallery? Are you showing in a museum? Are you showing at a street fair or an outdoor art show? So we're going to be showing at an outdoor art show at the library fair. You're going to price your work. I hate to say this because it sounds negative. You should price your work for this show lower than you would if you were showing at a gallery. And here's why. Galleries take a percentage for your work. So when you show in a shop or a gallery or a museum, you should always allow for the fact that the gallery is going to take from you. They're going to take a percentage of the price of your work. So when you show in that kind of place or venue, you've got to charge more for your work. So for example, if a gallery charges 50% for your work, if they take half of what you're charging for your painting or your sculpture, you're going to price your work accordingly. But for this fair art show that we're going to have here for the library, you want to price your work lower. Everybody understand that?
Yes, is it that high usually?
What do you mean?
50%.
Some galleries, yes, particularly in New York City, they will charge 50%. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right. So even professional artists, like when I show at the Art and Music Festival, I never charge what I would charge in a gallery. It's people who come to street fairs or outdoor art shows don't carry that kind of money with them. And unless you have the ability to take credit card purchases, you're not going to be able to make big money sales. So you have to charge lower. Everybody understand that? So for this sale, I'm assuming we're going to be doing cash only sales. A couple of $100 for your work would be a reasonable price. I wouldn't charge under $50 for your work. You've worked too hard. Too hard. I heard somebody say $50. At $50 is lowballing. Let's say 50 and above. All right, that's number one. Know your audience. Who's going to come to an art show in the park? Now, sometimes you can be lucky. Like my husband has been incredibly lucky and sold work for thousands of dollars at the Art and Music Festival on Washington Street. You can't always be that lucky. He has the ability also to take credit card purchases. You can do Venmo or Zelle. If you have the ability to do that, that enables you to charge a little bit more as well. Don't take checks. And never let your buyer walk away. Don't say, oh, I'm going to go get cash and come back. You've lost the sale. Don't let them say, I'm going to think about it and come back later. It's not going to work. Either they buy or they don't. And if they don't buy, don't feel bad about your work. Somebody else may come along to buy. And we're going to talk more about that. Who buys? We'll do that in another class. Don't worry about that now. Okay, I want to go through this quick now. Number 2, research comparable artists and their prices. What are artists in your market selling and for how much? All that means is talk to other members of this class and see what they're going to charge for comparable work. If somebody is selling something 8 by 11, for example, or 9 by 12, which is the size of most of the work that we do in this class. Say Susie is selling something for $50 and you think your work is the same size and the same quality as hers, then maybe you want to charge $50 as well. Make sense? No questions? Moving right along. Hi, Daniel. We're talking about how to price your work. The first thing was know your audience. So, for example, you would charge less at a street fair than you would in a gallery, for example. Number 3, determine a fair wage for your work. How much time and effort have you taken? How much have your materials cost? What did your research show you? For example, how much are people charging for other people charge for their work? All these things factor into how you price your work. There are actually mathematical formula online available to help you determine the cost, rate the size of your work, and the hourly output that you use. So for example, if you work 3 months on a drawing, like Shirley, you spend a lot of time on each drawing. That makes your work more valuable. The amount of hours you spend on anything makes something more valuable. Am I right? People earn an hourly wage. So think about that when you price your work. The size of your work, if it's larger, it should cost more. And there are mathematical formula online. You can Google how to price my work. They can tell you how much to price per foot or inch if you want that much guidance. I don't think it's necessary. That's why I'm not sharing it with you, but you can look into that. So the size of your work, the amount of time you've spent on it, how much did your materials cost? Many of you in this class buy your own supplies. How much did that cost you? That should factor into how much you charge for your work. If you buy top quality watercolors, then you should charge more for your watercolor painting. All right? Common sense pricing. So this is the last slide no, there's one more, so one more to go. Any questions about this one? Okay, you need to determine a fair wage for your work when you factor everything in for the price of your work. And finally, this is really important. Make sure your price structure is consistent. In other words, you charge something at this street fair, the next street fair you have, you've got to charge the same amount. You can't keep changing your prices every time you show your work. You will lose your credibility in the art market. This sounds weird, but it's true. You can negotiate price with an individual customer, but don't advertise that. And this is particularly true when you graduate to the level where you're showing in galleries or shops. You must keep your prices the same. Because if you keep changing your prices, if you go, oh, well, this is my friend's gallery, I'm going to charge less because she's my friend. You can't do that. You can have different prices for your gallery showings, and different prices for fairs, that is legitimate. But then those prices must stay the same every time you show your work. Questions? People will find out. Artists get very resentful and jealous if they find out you keep flip-flopping with your prices. You must be professional and consistent with your pricing. All right. A lot of people have been asking me how to price their work, so this was, I felt, worth talking about. Morning, Rarantika. All right, so I'm done with this. You can ask me questions during the class if you like. Okay, a couple of other quick announcements about the art show. Framing. It is now, it has become apparent to me that framing is less important for our art show. The library, I love this library, is buying display units that will enable us to clip our art to the display units. You know, these kind of bull clips that I use to clip paper together. We will be able to clip our artwork directly to the steel display unit frame. What I am going to recommend, though, if you don't use a picture frame, that you purchase some kind of plastic sleeve to slip your artwork into to protect it. And I'm going to talk more about that next class. The other thing that I'm now going to make optional is the artist statement. I think last class I said you must write the artist statement. Now I'm going to make it optional. I do recommend that you have an artist statement. It makes people really more interested in buying your work. All right. I still haven't gotten up to Right Angle Frame Shop here in Hoboken to see if they'll give us or help us get cheaper mat board, but I must do that. Any other questions or thought about the art show? Yes, so most of the work we do here for classes 9 by 12, it's easy to frame because it is a standard size, easier and cheaper to frame 9 by 12, 8 by 11, sizes like that. All right. No questions, no thoughts, concerns? Let's move on. Where is my share button? Seems to have disappeared. Here we go. Okay, so we're now going to move on to the fun stuff, I hope. No, we stop the share on this, make it go away. We want this. Okay, good. Everybody at home, can you see the new screen? I hope so.
Yes.
Thank you, Margot. All right, so our artist for today is the late, great Paul Gauguin. Paul Gauguin was a French painter, sculptor, printmaker, ceramicist, and writer whose work, as I mentioned before, is associated with post and regular impressionism and the symbolist movements. He was moderately successful in his lifetime, but didn't really succeed hugely. Today, we're going to focus on his tropical landscapes. He did other things, but I want us to look mainly at his landscapes. Sorry, I forgot to minimize the participant screen, so we'll have to have that. Before we talk about his work, I want to briefly discuss what makes something a landscape. Obviously, it's about nature, and it has the horizon line. We have that vertical line across, somewhere across the horizontal image of the picture that divides the sky area or the background from the bottom of the image or the foreground. And in this picture, in Gauguin's painting, the mountain and the sky are above the horizon line, and the trees and the field are in the foreground, below the horizon line. You get the depth of field in your landscape by having the larger shapes in the foreground. And even though the mountain is looming in the background, it is smaller than it would be in reality. So bigger shapes in the front, larger shapes or smaller shapes in the background. So he was only moderately successful in his life. He was born in Paris in 1848, which was a year of revolution in Europe. His family moved to Peru because of that. His father was a journalist, quite revolutionary, and was forced to leave France and move to Peru. His mother was related to people in Peru, so I guess his father thought it was a good place to go. So he had a very privileged childhood. His father died of a heart attack on the way to Peru, and his mother was then actually forced to come back to France and earn a living as a dressmaker. But then her mother was related to a man who became the president of Peru. And so she moved back with Gauguin to Peru, where he became very pampered as a child until he was about 6 years old. The family then returned to France. He had a formal education. He entered the Navy after going to the Naval Academy, and then he became a stockbroker. And he was a very successful stockbroker until there was a financial crash in 1882. And he suddenly, well, not suddenly, he had been painting on the side. It was kind of a side passion for him. And after the financial crash, he decided that he wanted to become a painter full time. For some reason, he decided that that was going to make him a better living than being a stockbroker. At the time he was married, he had met a Danish woman and married her. They had 3 children. That marriage turned out to be a disaster. And many years later, they did finally separate. He became acquainted with an Impressionist painter called Camille Pissarro, who took Gauguin on as his mentee, and he introduced Gauguin to Impressionist techniques. So at that time, the post-Impressionists were becoming popular. Remember, we talked a long time ago about the technique of pointillism. The post-Impressionist artists were starting to paint with dots, and you can see some of that in this painting by Gauguin. And the Impressionists also you could see the brushstrokes in their work, and this is also visible in this landscape by Gauguin. Gauguin was self-taught, however. He never went to art school. So he's one of the few artists that we've looked at from this period of art history who never went to art school. He learned from other artists. He loved to hang out at the cafes where artists hung out at that time, and he became great friends with them. Degas was his best and closest friend. He maintained the longest relationship with Degas than with any other artists at that time, almost their entire lives. He did manage to alienate Degas eventually. He became great friends, historic, everybody knows about this friendship. He became great friends with Van Gogh, and they spent a long time together. Van Gogh fell in love with Gauguin's art that he saw at an art show, and Theo, Van Gogh's brother, bought several of Gauguin's paintings and showed Gauguin's paintings in his gallery. And that relationship lasted way beyond Theo Van Gogh's lifetime. So Gauguin hated convention. He didn't like being constrained by society and culture. And he started traveling all over the world. One of the first places he went to was Panama. It turned out he hated Panama. But on his way back from Panama, he traveled to Martinique. And I'm sorry, Laura, E is waiting to be admitted. He went to Martinique, which is the French Caribbean island, and he fell in love with tropical life in Martinique. He spent several months there, and he kind of became addicted to the exoticism of tropical life. And this became an obsession for him, and he wanted from then on to go to Tahiti. And he finally managed to go to Tahiti. And he completely fell in love with Tahiti. And he ended up at the end of his life. Well, he first went in the 1890s, and his art took a significant turn there during his time in Tahiti. Tahiti was a French colony, and it was there he took refuge from Western civilization. And he very controversially married 3 adolescent Tahitian girls with whom he fathered 3 children, or many children. So his later years were spent in Tahiti and the Marquesa Islands, and they were marked with health and financial struggles. But it was here that he started doing these very colorful and symbolist themes. He completely abandoned all of the rules of Western European, well, not completely, but many of the rules of Western European art. He flattened his work. He gave up all ideas of perspective. He adopted very bright colors, and he liked, which you saw more of in the previous painting, he liked dark outlining. And he became spiritual in his work. He started exploring the relationship between people, nature, and the spiritual world. As always, any thoughts or ideas about Gauguin's paintings, feel free to share. Do you like it? Don't you like it?
Liz,
Yes.
I really like the brilliancy and illumination of his art.
Yes. So he became what we call a synthesist artist. The synthesists wanted to use flat color, and they believed that color and shape were equal in value, which was something very new for this period of time. This is the style of Gauguin's work that we're most familiar with, and this is what made him popular. His work became very influential after his death. People you've heard of before, like Picasso and Matisse, were heavily influenced by his work. And Gauguin believed that people like Van Gogh were also heavily influenced by his work. I'm not sure I believe the Van Gogh part, but certainly Matisse. And Picasso admits that Gauguin influenced his work. So here you can see that he was adopting very flat shapes, bright colors. He could care less about perspective and depth, but there's still that horizontal division between background and foreground. Notice how large the dog and woman are in relation to the hill in the background. So you know what's in front and you know what's in the back. So this is an earlier work. This painting was in France. But you could see the direction that he was going in already, flattening the shapes, using brighter colors in his pictures. Oh, I've shown twice, forgive me, but I'm glad we're going back to this one. Notice the dark outlining. I mean, this one feels more like a Van Gogh, doesn't it? Definitely with the dark outlining. This is a watercolor. All the others have been oils.
Previous printing all in oil painting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Mackie. So he was a world traveler, but Tahiti became the place where he felt most comfortable, and he spent most of his life. He even wrote a travel book called Noah, which helped support him at the end of his life. There's so much to read about Gauguin. I mean, I have pages and pages of information about him. So if you're drawn to his work, there's
Liz,
much to read.
sorry, Liz.
Yes,
This one
Maggie.
is oil painting or watercolor.
This one's an oil.
Thank you. And do you know what the size, the measurement?
I do not. His works are not that large for the most part.
Oh, thank you.
They're the kind of art that you can be surprised by because they look like they should be big, don't they? But when you see them in person, they're not that big at all. They're kind of
I feel sorry.
jewel-like.
No, I feel most of your showing the artwork not big. That's why I just use the iPad. I see them, many of them are blur. So it's a small painting.
Okay. Yes, remember when I
Thank
enlarged
you.
the slideshow, they do get blurry, everyone. When I look at these images of Gauguin's work, I assume they're going to be big, but they are not. I do not. Remember, everyone, I'm not an art historian. I'm just trying to get your creative juices flowing. That's why I'm showing you his artwork. If you want more details about his work, I invite you to look further into it. This also is an oil. This is a classic landscape. Look at that distinct horizon line that divides the top half from the bottom half of the painting. Notice how large the trees are in the bottom left-hand corner, even though you know in your mind that the trees can't literally be that large. They're almost as big as the mountain, but because they're close up, artists use that to trick the eye, to make them think that there's all that space on the flat surface of their painting.
Liz, I like the way he painted the break in the water.
Yes. I mean, for a self-taught artist, You did pretty darn good. So we are self-taught here. It can be done. For those of you who don't believe you can achieve this kind of realism in your work, you can. Just requires practice. And Gauguin was that kind of artist. He painted every day. And it does require practice. All right, any last minute thoughts before I tell you what we're going to make today? He did a lot of figurative painting. He was, as I mentioned, he married 3 Tahitian women. He was very attracted to the beauty of the Tahitian women, and he painted many portraits of the Tahitian people. But we're not going to do figurative work today. We are going to do landscapes. I do invite you to look at his figurative work because they're quite wonderful. We're going to do landscapes. So I have brought in several things for those of you who are here in person. I have printouts of different tropical landscapes. I would prefer that you not color on these. These are here for you to copy and look at. I also have postcards that are ocean scenes that you can look at for inspiration and use. I have acrylic paint. I have colored pencils and soft pastels. I'm going to encourage those of you who are here to paint today. We have plenty of time. When you're doing landscapes, painting is a wonderful way to go. What I would suggest is you start first lightly in pencil. And the classic way to do landscapes is to hold your paper in the horizontal direction. In fact, artists call this landscape direction. Do your horizon line across the whole page first. Larger shapes in the foreground or front, smaller shapes in the back. Have fun with color today. Gauguin was not necessarily realistic in his use of color. People at home, if you need inspiration, maybe you have pictures from travel experiences that you've had, your own expeditions to different locations, or you can look online, or as always, you can copy a Gauguin painting. I'm going to put a Gauguin on the big screen here for everyone to copy if you wish. It's a great way to learn by copying other artists. Any questions for today? Those of you who are using acrylic paints here, be mindful of others. You don't have to pour the entire bottle out. Start with a little. You can always go back for more if you need more paint. We good to go? No questions? Those of you who missed my little mini lecture on how to price your artwork, if you have questions about it, you can come and see me. Yes, you have a question? No, I thought you put your hand. All right, let's go to work. Have fun. I'll put these pictures out in 1 second. I'm just going to put my apron on. Oh, and I have to put a Gauguin picture up on the big screen. Okay, first I have to choose a picture lizard. Did we like the picture with the big red mountain? It's the one we're going to use. So I'm now putting a picture, a Gauguin painting up on the screen for those of you at home and here if you want to copy it. already have it open. I hope folks at home, you can see it. Susan, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see the picture? Okay, thanks. Tell James I miss him. Okay, thanks. And please, everybody remember, I am not an expert on Paul Gauguin. So those of you who want to learn more about him, look him up. Like I said, there are so many books about Paul Gauguin. There's so many myths about Gauguin, just like there are myths about Vincent van Gogh. I don't purport to be an expert. I do not. Many of them have Tahitian names. He learned how to speak the Tahitian language, although apparently many of the titles are incorrect because he was an arrogant person. He didn't take the time to really learn the language all that thoroughly or correctly. Yes, I'm going to put the pictures right here. They're all different things. I was referring to see how different we are. So those of you who are going to be in the art show, you want to start looking through your work. Start picking one or two things. Start picking your toughest stuff. At this point, I think we may only be able to have one piece per person because if everyone wants to participate. You can have a folder with your artwork. We're going to have a table in the tent. But if you have a folder of your artwork, I think you need to be there to talk about your work. And you need to have a price list. You are. Making art, now you're going to show it. It's just the next step. It's not a big deal. Folks at home, I don't know if you heard me, but you want to start choosing the work that you're going to show in the art show. Start winnowing down to maybe your top 3 at this point. 5 years at least.
5 years of work.
You were in this class when we were upstairs, right?
Yes.
So 7 years. That's when I started 7 years ago. Maybe even 8. I might have started before I retired. Is that possible? No. I couldn't have. Well, maybe I did workshops. I've been doing workshops here for years.
Learning to draw. Yeah, that's how I first came to the always take the less you remember.
do remember, it's probably all made up.
Well, this was a great thing online today about getting over it. I'll send it to you. Really funny.
It's all fun. We all laugh at it. It's, biological existence is probably the most conserved thing there is. All aspects. But then it would like that way. Yeah. That's why it's conserved. Really? Exactly. I hate it. That's why I took these courses. And you don't.
Never played.
No. Straight line. Delaware. It's supposed to be like North Delaware. It's the South Jersey. North South, you go to New Jersey, you go south, you get off. Right, the Rockville there. But I meant to work that, I'm not sure what the money is, but municipalities. They're like, Southern. It's okay. You could, but I prefer to stay on TV. Yeah. It's breaking. If you want to do it on. But I think you're gonna learn more. Right. But it's up to you. I want you to relax and enjoy yourself. Oh, you love to challenge yourself, so it's all good. And we all make mistakes. Folks at home, we're good. Mackie, you're having fun? Stephanie, are you good? Do you have to leave early today?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do. I have PT.
Okay. Hope it's helping.
Yeah, it is. That's why I go.
Good.
Actually, I'm up to amazing today.
Oh, you're working on the spelling bee.
I have a little headache, so I'm not really into art today. But I have 19 points to genius. So
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of little words today, but I can't. I mean, I did so many little words, I can't imagine what's left. But good.
I
all right.
found 43 words.
I got a challenge ahead of me.
You
I love
know what I do? I just keep flipping the letters around.
Yep. And the more you look, the more words suddenly appear.
It's true. And sometimes you have to walk away and then come back.
Yep.
Yeah, but do you do Wordle too?
Sometimes I hit genius at midnight. It's all good.
Yeah, I believe it. It comes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 19 points away from genius, so
For you.
a little challenging today. You're right with the Z, but a lot of words end in IZE.
Oh, really? I got the
Yeah.
pangram.
You did which one? Demonize?
Is there more than one pangram?
Panagram? Yeah, sometimes there's more than one. What did you get?
Top is genius. Yeah.
Oh,
Another one on the other side. Also in use, but there is another. Put it over here, just know it's available for you. Yeah, no pressure. I'm just letting everybody know there's feet to use here, should you mind. See you do a bigger one. No. Continues to use the line contour technique to her advantage. All the starts with line contour. Is that you, Eileen? Do you know how to mute your phone? Do you know how to mute your phone? Yeah. No, I don't do that because then I need to remember to take that. I'm taking it, turn it off. Oh, okay. That's what I.
The size of the
Not bothersome.
always. Work.
Person to trying to showcase this flat. Something around.
I like this. That's a song. This.
Large shapes first. Remember to do your large shapes first, everyone. The sky, and any water, and fields.
Then come back in to do the tiny details. Colors, Judy, colors. Well, do these big shapes first. Don't worry about things like the person until the end. Do more of the flat shapes. Mixing your colors in. Remember, red with green. And then you want to use only a bit of red. Remember the color theory. Red with green, yellow with violet, orange with blue. Color wheels here. Red with green, orange with blue, yellow with violet. Yeah. That one's it's one big shape. I feel like it needs color. Yeah. We just do white. Because that's something really, it shouldn't be plain big. No, yeah. You could take the white and the stone and then just start blending the other color into the white. I'm kidding you. Stop. Stop. Worry about doing the trade. What's going to happen to the sky behind it? It's going to be very hard to do the sky when you do the trees first. You understand? So let's think about that. Before you do the tiny details, think about the background first. Large shapes first.
Okay, made a knot. Well, no, I put lighter, so again, okay, or using arms, or water. Anyway, you go, it's light and water. No, there, you don't need the dark. It's not. All of these look art show worthy to me already, but keep going. Yes. It's magic, the red.
Folks at home, we good? Oh, just Mackie and Margot. What happened to Susan? Susan, you still there? Doesn't look that way. He had such an interesting life, Gauguin. The age of 6, he had nursemaids and servants.
That's shares the same surname, that's the guy who quote unquote betrayed and go.
Betrayed him in what way?
What's it about the guy who befriended Van Gogh and what betrayed him? What's called?
Well, they had a horrible argument and they broke up.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not the same guy.
Van Gogh had an obsession with Gauguin, and it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's why I say quote unquote, but it's not the same guy, or.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Is that?
Yeah. It's the same guy. Van Gogh worshipped Gauguin, and it was a suffocating relationship for Gauguin. He
Yeah, yeah, I heard it, somehow the background didn't kind of like, yeah, because I
Spent a long period of time. 9 months.
Yeah, I know.
I just said betrayal is fun. I had a close relationship for many years. It goes my against work, and I'm not sure that's true. They broke up.
Yeah, maybe the word is betrayal because he was during that time that Van Gogh was having a big.
Yeah. But I don't have any people. Yes. You look, it's just the United States. It's really. I mean, I think Gauguin knew that It's very hard to stay from. Yes, yes, yes. It is. I know. It is when you're either on the receiving end or you are the person. Oh. I've been on both ends. That is surprisingly so likely that. Yeah. I think your recognition is the one that we can. People are more isolated. Yes, yes, yes. We work for. It's emotional. Yes, I forget the name of the American Surgeon General, but he said loneliness is the number one health problem in America. 26% of Americans live alone. Me too. It's a large percentage. I go out every day. I go out every day. I did for many, 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 many. Huh? So. Yes, I'm about to tell you. So it's, I didn't let it dry. And then you can take some of the darker colors and outline. To make some of the sharper edges. Of the image. A beautiful composition. By dividing up the space into different shapes, which is exactly what you should do. Done really well. And you can outline the paint where you can use scale. So what I would recommend doing is walking in, see other people to define the shapes you want to outlining you can define the shapes. Okay. So to outline these are one in front of you. Well, you've done it by putting the lighter, brighter color in the front and the darker, duller color in the background. It's exactly the way to do it. See what he did? See what Gauguin did? Lighter, brighter in the front, darker, duller in the back. You did it exactly right.
So in order to show these layers, it's the front layer masters.
Yes, think about it. What does the light hit first? The sunlight hits the thing in the front. And then the thing in back is in shadow.
Yes,
It's gonna be darker in the back, lighter in the. Makes sense. So you did it very well. I'm blocking your view, sorry. I see.
Time, do we want to share today or do we want to keep working? We have 10 minutes till cleanup, 10, 11 minutes. I feel like we should keep working today. With the art show coming up, and these are art show worthy.
But working from the picture. This is too defined indoor. Everything else. So we're either something defined. Really balance. One of my person. And it
It's like
really got my.
actually, these are all my hobbies.
It's like you're all about the heavy and.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel it. Yeah. Oh, God. Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because I was trying to think, okay, ideas, like, yeah, I'm like thinking as I go up. This, that's well. It's similar, not the.
Liz, can I have your comments?
I heard the voice, I couldn't figure where it was coming from. Mackie, you good? You need me?
Yes.
Wait,
yes,
I'm going to
yes.
stop the share.
Um, this is my picture. The landscape. This is my picture. You
Okay,
see,
that's your starting.
this is a
inspiration.
temple. Yes.
Yeah.
And then this is a.
Wow. What kind of paint are you using? This is a
So
beautiful beginning.
use the watercolor. It's
Okay.
watercolor. Yes, this is the temple. This is the drum for the drums. So it's another special building. So I'm not sure how to represent the
My
front.
recommendation
front
now,
is-
Mackie, listen. My recommendation
Yes.
is to let it dry
And I would
Yes.
work in the details with colored pencil.
Or use watercolor pencil on top.
Yes, but dry,
Yes.
let it dry first.
Okay. You
And
mean
then
fully
work
dry?
in the details with watercolor pencil. And then if you
Yes.
want, take a very fine point brush and wet the lines that you've drawn. If you want it to look totally like a watercolor painting, work in the watercolor pencil lines with just a very fine point wet brush
Okay.
to soften
Yes.
the pencil lines. Very nice composition. I like it.
Thank
And
you.
what about the sky though? The sky needs color.
Yes, so this is the blues, the cloudy, so it is the darker, the trees. So maybe 2%, but
What
the
does it look
cloud.
like in the picture?
Yeah, this is the picture.
Yes, so have fun with that. You can do a thin layer of the blue and then, but leave some white paper in the shape of the cloud.
Oh, okay. Actually, I very
Just
light.
what you have already,
very
but there's a little bit of blue on the top right corner.
Yeah.
Where your right hand is.
Yes.
On that side. There should be a
Yes.
little bit of blue. That's the left side, your left.
You mean dark?
On your right
my
side,
left.
there should be,
Yeah.
yes. Excellent.
Okay.
It's looking
Yes.
good. You can bring it
Thank
back
you.
finish next week to show me, or you can email me. You should have my email address, correct? You can take a photograph of it on
Yes.
your phone and then send me a picture.
So after I do more and send you, or right now I send you?
I would do a little more, then send it to me. Take a picture, do
Okay.
a little
Yes.
more, take a picture and send it to me, and we can have a conversation about what you're doing.
Okay.
All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Do you need me
So-
to do you want me to send you my email address again, or do you have it?
Let me double check.
I'll send it to you in the chat box, not to worry.
Yeah, please. Next week, your class continue.
Yes.
I don't see anything yet.
Yeah, it should be on the calendar. People have already registered for it, Mackie.
Oh, okay. I try to find again.
I just sent you my email address, Mackie.
Okay, yes, I received it.
Good.
CONCHART@AOL.com. Got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. How about the trees? Is like this is okay.
Well, you can add, oh, bye, guys. You can add some texture with the watercolor pencil when it's dry. Some lines to show, not a lot, but some lines to show leaves or pines. Is it pine trees? It depends what kind of tree it is.
Cannot see because it's the
Picture's too small.
yes, it is.
Working
it's
from
big.
photographs can be difficult. Yes.
Oh, you're right. It's difficult.
So, I mean, you could add some squiggly lines, textural effects that look leaf-like.
Okay, And at the front have some that you see the white is the statues, some animal statues. So I use a gouache or use acrylic on top.
Well, you could do that. You could make a mixed media with acrylic and watercolor, sure.
Yes. Okay, I tried it. Thank you.
Yeah, send me pictures of your work along the way so I can give you advice. All right.
Yes. Okay,
Folks,
thank you.
here it is time to clean up. I'm so sorry to stop your creative process. Folks at home, obviously you can keep working as long as you like. Next month will be September, next class, and we will be starting on a whole new theme. I hope you enjoyed today. I'm not going to say goodbye yet. That you're going to have to throw away. Okay. Unless you want to take it home with you and you could work more at home. Yes, any paint that you have left over, you're welcome to take with you. Otherwise, you know, throw it away. So Margot, you okay?
Yeah, getting ready to bounce. I have a lunch date I have to drive to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
No worries.
may your drive go well. I hope you had some fun in this class.
Of course, always.
Okay, great.
Okay, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
You got it.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
Yes, Mackie. Well done.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this. Right. I do prefer like watercolor.
Oh, okay.
Does this work with watercolor? The same?
Yeah, but it's not.
Oh, right.
There's me.
Luckily.
Bye, Shirley. See you next week. Have a great Labor Day, everybody.
Sally loves to take pictures.
Okay,
If it's okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Sally is wonderful. Oh, they're cute. I would get a little darker. Yeah, dark. That might be one to take a dark red. To make it pop. It's the stand.
I'm gonna be that's part of it. Five. Liz, I wanted you to kind of like an opinion, and I'm gonna show you the story. I'm starting to make my painting that I'm gonna give my parents, but I'm assuming something wrong with the hacking thing, I'm really sure, it's sketches.
Can I talk to you? Well, this is really good. She asked me a question.
Okay.
Oh, I was born on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. So I'm technically an Aries, but I feel let's choose. Water. That's where I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, that's what we were asking.
Like I did that my initial. But something I feel wrong. It's just.
I don't.
The hands mostly.
Well, the hands are large, but they shouldn't because they're forward or short.
I don't know. I could say carrying to the picture that.
And you have them dark and everything else.
No,
drawing.
no.
That's gonna make them look big.
Honestly, this is just one sketch.
No, I'm going in the sketch, they're dark. It's not drawing. It's an optical illusion.
Yeah.
It connects them. And they probably are.
This is the reference bag. Yeah, so that's something on my mother's hand, I call it too big.
Show me your drawing. Your father has big teeth.
My father, yeah, I know that my father is big, but my mother. And my mother, something I felt something.
Well, it is a little large and it's a little square. You might want to go softer around the edges.
Yeah, maybe I should make it a little bit shorter. But the body fine, because the head looks bigger than the body.
No. I think the proportions are fine.
All right.
So whatever you do,
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
you're gonna do great.
All right. Yeah, that's not, I don't need it to make it.
No problem.
All right.
Have fun with it.
All right.
Parents are gonna be thrilled.
All right. That's good.
Thank you. Oh, it's great. Lots of nice meeting.
Nice meeting you, thank you so much.
I hope you enjoy getting loose to crazy article. Now, people, that's today.
We clean the tablecloth.
I have not said goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week. It will be September. Happy Labor Day. A whole new theme in the new month. And I will share with everyone what that is at our next class. Art on, everyone, and see you soon.